Well, we're back in the blue Mustang.
Here we are.
And we're back at the GSL Model Car Championship.
Yes.
We abandoned that a while back because there was a couple other things we wanted to take a look at. But we're getting back now to see some more cars from the most amazing and robust Model Car Championship in the world, bar none.
Right.
The GSL Model Car Championship. So check this out. So we're back at the GSL. These are some of the cars that were entered in the car show. And while we were away, they figured out the winners.
Oh, gee.
Because last time the contest was still going on when we put the last show, well, while we were editing the last show. Anyway, at this point, we know who won.
Right.
So that's cool.
That is.
And this guy right here is the big winner, the Caterham Super 7.
I hear it was all scratch built, too.
Yeah, it's 100% scratch. This was built by Mark Jones, and he was actually here 2 years ago with a Super 7 and also took Best of Show. That one was a customized and a yellow one. He redid it this year in Gulf colors.
Wow.
Is that just the most impressive scratch building you've ever seen?
Totally amazing.
It's easy to see how it won Best of Show.
It's amazing how much detail is paid to just the simple things like radiator hoses.
And we showed you this Harley last time too. It was built by Mike English, and it won Best Paint and Finish as well as Best Detail. And I can see why it won Best Detail. Look at that.
It looks like you could start it and drive away on it.
No kidding. Just the chain drive here. It's perfect.
How do they do that?
I don't know. Oh my heck.
What in the world? Is that a radial engine?
It's a radial aircraft engine and a 39 pickup truck. It won Modeler's Choice.
I guess it needs a propeller.
It got everybody's attention, so everybody voted for it, and it won Modeler's Choice. It's a 39 Plymouth pickup truck. And let's take a look at some of the dioramas. This is a cool one. This is Making the Film 2-lane blacktop.
I believe that's a 1955 Chevy Bel Air.
Yeah, a bit customized. And so what they've recreated here is shooting that film. And they had to hang all of this speed rail onto the side of the car, so they had a place to rig the camera. So he worked from the production stills to get an idea of what this would have looked like. And here we have a bug-eyed sprite on race day.
Isn't that cute?
I love bug-eyed sprites. What an era, the two-seat British sports car. And this diorama they called the Moonshot.
My goodness, it looks like Ed Roth got a hold of it.
Well, exactly, which is why it won the Ed Roth Memorial Award.
Nice.
So Ratfink gave his seal of approval.
He's not a seal, he's a rat.
I stand corrected. Now this diorama is very appropriate, called 26 Model T Coupe in a Barn.
Oh yeah.
It's a kind of literal.
Literally.
But is that cool or what? This garage full of wonderful, wonderful things with a 26T hot rod shoved right into the middle of the whole thing.
Sounds like something we would own.
No kidding. It's sort of like pre-existence for Garage Mahal.
Exactly, when I first knew it.
It looked a lot like this. But check that out. Is that a beautiful setup or what?
Are those Utah plates?
Those are Utah plates. And I think they're real. I think the car is actually licensed. I could be wrong. The diorama category is always one of my favorites, and I think it would be Steve, since he's concentrating on building lots of dioramas these days. But it sort of is like where model railroading overlaps into automobile modeling, isn't it?
It sure is.
Look at that. Is that beautiful or what?
I love it.
This is sort of whimsical.
What?
Egocentric. How about this?
Yeah.
Huh? And these are light commercial trucks. It's sometimes hard to determine where light commercial truck leaves and heavy commercial truck begins. So sometimes those vehicles get moved from category to category, but a lot of these are tow trucks.
Right.
And that's pretty easy to determine that that is a light commercial truck. Now, in the For What It's Worth department, the only time I've ever actually entered the GSL was years ago, and it was with a tow truck. This one. So I just thought I'd throw this in here.
Old Jeb's truck.
Yeah, that's over there in the living room, so we're perfectly familiar with the vehicle. But this is just such a fun category to enter. It's just so fun to put together a beat-to-crap junkyard dog of a tow truck.
Looks like somebody's couch in there with donuts and a soda. What in the world?
Yeah, I figured Jeb lost the seat, so he just stuck his wife's sofa in there.
Yeah, he did.
A little more serious over here, but this is back to the light commercial truck department there at the car show. This one really caught my eye. It's got this trailer full of just marvelous detail.
Holy cow.
Look at that. That's a work of art in its own right.
That's crazy.
And this one had a little go-kart shoved in the back.
A spare.
A spare. That's where when the truck breaks down, you can take off in the go-kart. But so many fun vehicles here in light commercial truck. This strikes me as a little unusual, but light commercial vehicle is really the category, so the cop car ended up over there.
Oh, no.
And this is a Mack Bulldog. There are a couple of those entered in the show this year. There was a monogram kit years ago, which is one of my favorite kits of all time, and we should do a Tuesday show on that since we have about 10 of them up in the attic.
Let's get one down.
But what a great example of a light commercial truck. The Mack Bulldog. And heavy vehicles. Now, the military vehicles end up in this same category, and these are most certainly military vehicles, and just stunning examples. Look at the added detail here. I'm not sure what here is scratch and what is derived from kits. And semis.
Yes, it's a Peterbilt.
It's a Peterbilt. There were actually a bunch of semis this year, which is really neat. It's fun now that these things are turning up at actual car shows. It's becoming a thing to collect early semis.
Yes.
So that's pretty fun. Now this truck is actually in a different category. They've got a category called Reproduction. So if you want to reproduce an exact copy of a known vehicle, you can enter that in replica with photographs of the original vehicle. And that's what's going on here. This is exactly the way this truck appeared, and he wanted to model it with the trusses loaded on here and everything. An exact reproduction of the truck that he photographed.
Oh, look, it's Ed Roth's Custorama, complete with the rat fink.
Indeed! I think they got the size about right on Rat Fink.
They did. Perfect.
Perfect, really. And a figure of Ed in his tails, his tuxedo with tails.
Check it. Oh, look at that.
And Ed's Mr. Gasser.
Yes.
As a figure over in the specialty department, only instead of driving his car, he's golfing.
He's driving the golf ball.
It's a different kind of driving. But the specialty area contains all kinds of oddball movie cars and interesting, whimsical. This was actually a real car back in the 60s. A hot rod built out of a phone booth.
Yeah, my sister and I were going to build hot rods out of our bunk beds.
And the Ectomobile.
Oh, check it out.
Everybody loves the Ectomobile, and of course that should be over here in the specialty department. This was built by Terry Jesse, and I don't think the man has ever missed a GSL. He's a fixture.
So.
And George Barris's Beverly Hillbilly car.
Oh my goodness.
The great custom car builder, George Barris, put this thing together for the Beverly Hillbillies show. And they've built the car here, scratch building all of the interior parts and detail parts. It won Best Interior, and it's easy to see why.
Exactly.
What an amazing model. Look at that.
That's perfect.
Perfect. And this thing was called the General. And I don't know if it was a train or a car or just what it was.
It could be a rail.
There you go. And over here, street rods. Now, last time we looked at street machines. The difference between a street rod and a street machine is just the year of the car. If it's 1937 or earlier, they call it a street rod. Otherwise, it's a street machine.
Okay.
Just a designation they use here for the contest. Look at this thing. It's got this tricycle in back. Is that cool or
fun.
what?
I want it.
I do too. I just the truck is neat, but I fell in love with the tricycle.
Yeah.
This always ends up being one of the bigger categories, street rod, which makes sense. If you go to a car show, that's what's mostly prevalent at the car shows too.
I think the rat rods would probably be in this category as well.
Absolutely. Check out this Jeep. This is an amazing build. The attention to detail on the engine and the suspension. This was really, really an amazing thing. The more I got my nose down in here, the more detail I found.
Wow.
That was part 2 of the Model Car Championship, the GSL Model Car Championship. Once again, some amazing kits and scratch built and highly modified.
It's just astounding.
Oh man, I tell you what,
yeah, how do they do it?
the best car modelers on the planet, and they come from all over the planet to be part of this.
That's
so
right.
That's amazing. And they say there will be one more in 3 years.
That might give me a chance to get my
Yeah.
Impala put together.
And that's barring any unforeseen, let's say it's tentatively scheduled for 3 years hence. And we assume that that's going to happen.
Yeah. Get on that Impala.
Well, and speaking of hence, we still have one more show to do.
We do. 'Cause
Yes,
it's long.
because we still have more models to show you.
Uh-huh.
So that will be part 3
3.
of the GSL Model Car Championship.
Yes.
As we go through the big dip here,
Yes.
and hopefully we don't tear the car apart.
That's a dip.
That is a dip.
Yeah.
Sheep dip right there. Okay,
There,
we made
we
it.
made it.
We lived
Wow.
through it. It's amazing.
Yeah, just watch the potholes now. This road's interesting.
So we still have a lot of amazing cars to show you, and we will be showing you those in just a short period of time as we get back to the GSL Model Car Championship
Yes.
2019. Well, we're not sure how you found this movie on the internet. No, let's see, I'm ahead of myself. I will have to edit around. Well, if you're not a subscriber, do head on over to the channel and subscribe.
You don't want to be ahead of yourself in the Mustang.
Boy, I'll tell you what,
Impossible.
impossible. Anyway, and if you're not do head over to the channel, and if you're not a subscriber, you can become a subscriber with the infamous blue button.
Yes, ready?
Are you ready? And now we can do it. Well, we're not sure how you found your way to this movie on the internet. We hope you didn't find it boring. And we will see you on Tuesday as we screw around with some toys in the attic.
Yay!
So see you then. Bye-bye.